Today we continue on the beautiful story that ANTEC is creating lately, and right here we have an outstanding case once again that is going under the name CX800 Wood Addressable RGB. Wood because of the panel on the side, on the front, which does look quite outstanding, and because of that we have this color scheme going on inside the build, just to give you guys a bit of a visual aspect, more attraction, and well, so it kind of makes it more eye-pleasing when you're watching the video. Now, for this build, I wanted to basically check out literally everything that we could do here. So I'm going to go a bit more into details and hopefully shorten it up a bit so you don't have to watch that long videos. But let's go. So it comes pre-installed with 4 fans. We have 3 reverse fans here at the bottom, 120, and 120 at the back. The thing is, you can go with 360 radiator on top, and that's really cool because we have a Vortex here, Vortex 360 addressable RGB. You can go with 2 120 at the side as well. This is quite outstanding, I do have to say. And at the back we have HCG Pro 1000 watts platinum power supply, which actually has loads of space for cable management, and you'll see that quite shortly. Then we have 2 hard drive cages, which can be converted into SSD mounts as well. So you have those 2, and this is really good because it's right above the power supply and everything else. When we're talking about some dust filters, we have 1 at the bottom, we have 1 at the back. And the cool thing is, since we have a power supply and the side fans, you have 2 additional magnetic dust filters at the back, just for protection of the dust on the side, which is great. Taking apart the case is really straightforward. You remove the side and the side tempered glass and the side steel panel just on the pegs. There are no screws, nothing unnecessary to do like unscrewing additional screws or anything else. The front tempered glass, on the other hand, does need to be unscrewed, but that needs a lot of action in terms of removing the bottom fans. Now, since I'm here at the bottom with the fans and all the other stuff, since it can accommodate ATX motherboard, here's the thing. The motherboard goes straight to the bottom part of the case, right? So even though it has holes at the bottom, they are designed for back connect, which is another cool feature that this case has. But you can't push any cables through it. You either have to push those small like power button cables or addressable RGB or anything similar to that, and they need to be flat if you want to push them beneath. Otherwise, if you go with a standard motherboard that doesn't support back connect, you can just use the extra holes on the side that are meant for back connect and just nicely tuck them in and connect them to the motherboard headers, which in that scenario creates quite nice build, because with those additional holes you can really do nice cable management, which is outstanding, of course. Now, when you take into consideration that the ATX motherboard is really going low to the bottom part of the chassis, that means that this case is really compact. And even though you can place a 360 radiator on top, which gives you loads of space, but then again, why not? It looks really great in the whole scenario. At the back, we have 6 expansion slots, because when we were taking into consideration that the motherboard is fully down, then you can have 7 expansion slots, and you have some locking mechanism here to lock, let's say, the access to the screws. And unfortunately, they don't have all the expansion slots covers. They need to be removed. So they aren't as per usual on the other cases that you use your screws to remove the expansion slot covers. They are actually fixed, so you need to tear them up. That's a bit, a shame, but okay, never mind. The fans on this case come with proprietary cables when we're talking about addressable RGB, but you don't have to worry about that, because the final cable that creates the addressable RGB and everything else is addressable RGB header, 3-pin 5 volts addressable RGB and 4-pin PWM, so you can regulate literally everything. Now, when we're talking about details, I/O ports, well, basically it's minimalistic. It's really minimalistic, and I'm really digging it still, regardless of everything. So we have a power on button, LED control button, USB 3.0, USB Type-C 5 gigabit per second, headphone and microphone combo jack, which is still solid. When we're talking about the fan configuration, on top you can go with 3 120 or 2 140, side 2 120, bottom 3 120 or 2 140. rear 1120 or 1140, and you already know the included fans. Now, for the radiator support, here's something interesting. They wrote that on the bottom and on the top you can go up to 360, which also includes 280. On the side you can go with 120 and 240, and on the rear you could go with 120. So I was really curious. I was really curious on the side, and it's quite interesting if you desire to go with side radiator, but let's go into custom loop. So if you want to go with a side radiator, you can go with the thickness, and this includes these fusion fans. You can go with the thickness of the radiator up to 4.5 centimeters, and this still leaves 1 to 2 millimeters of clearance towards the GPU, which is outstanding. And if you go with regular thickness on the radiator at the top, like I did with the Vortex 360, you can go with both radiators at the same time, which is good. Now, of course, you do need to regulate how the tubes will go, and it's going to be a bit of a fiddle inside the case and adjusting and similar stuff, but I think that's still good. Maximum GPU length is 410 millimeters, maximum CPU cooler height is 175, which is really great, and maximum PSU length, which includes the cable, is 225 millimeters. What I can say about this case, and you already know, the airflow goes from the bottom to the top like a chimney effect. The rear one is an exhaust, and the side ones are also as an intake. And all in all, it's a really nice compact case. And apart from other builds, other fish tanks, I'm really digging the wood part, right? Because it really does give that different visual aspect. Now, I know there's a huge trend when we're talking about the wood accent on the cases, and believe me, I have nothing against it because it really does look attractive. But when we take into consideration Computex and that almost every brand on their boot had at least one case which had wooden accent, yeah, it kind of goes into that segment. You know, we have fish tanks. It started with fish tanks, and then everybody had fish tanks. It started with wood, and now everybody has wood. But okay, it really doesn't matter. Now, for the performance, and I'm really surprised. I'm really digging this case and this combination with Vortex, HCG, and even these components and cables. But that's irrelevant because performance, right? Now, AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, we have AMD Ryzen 9 7900 X3D with the MSI RTX 4080 Super Gaming X Slim. CPU went up to 88 degrees and clock speed 4825 MHz with the GPU at 67 degrees. Now, Cinebench is something that shocked me because I was expecting solid scores, but not this good. So, it starts at 83 and eventually lowers down to 81. So the majority of tests was 81. And then the clock speeds starts at 4975, and as the terminals lower down, the clock speed goes up, and it goes up to 5025. This is great. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. And the same thing happens with the Cinebench scores. Starts at 26,455. It stays there for 2-3 tests, and then goes up to 26,633. I think that's even the highest score, to 26,698. So almost 26,700, which in comparison to my past reviews, this is outstanding when you take into consideration the whole airflow through the chassis. How can this AIO perform so good in this case? And all in all, the configuration of everything is just great. The only thing, and this is not specifically about this case, ANTEC is lately doing an outstanding job, which I know you guys notice from all the comments and even on Instagram and all my other social media, what I see from you guys that actually have their cases and that you're planning to buy their cases. The only thing that I can say about ANTEC that they need to work on now, they developed these cases that are outstanding, right? They did the Core HS, which was quite nice, and big thumbs up for that as well. The only thing that they need to do is in the chassis that they go on the market, create fans that can be not regulated in the same way, but to have unified fans. So for instance, I can't grab these fans anywhere, unfortunately. That's the only thing, right? So I want to unify my whole chassis and not to have the original stock fans that are as such, and then go with the fusion fans here on top. But if I go with the fusion fans, they aren't reversed. So this is the only thing that ANTEC needs to do, which will make them top notch. Okay, this is it, guys. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, one more thing, when we're talking about mounting the motherboard inside this case, you need to put 3 standoffs on the side, which of course I have. And when we're tying up the bottom three screws, you either have to remove these 2 fans or just try to wiggle it around, because it isn't a straight pointing with a screwdriver, so it might create thread wearing. Maybe it didn't happen to me, but you know, just want to mention that so you guys are up and updated on everything. This case is really outstanding. It has space at the back for cable management. Loads of possibilities when we're talking about the fans. After all, we are talking about 9 fans. It's a very compact case, let's put it this way. And 2 radiators at the same time, being 240, being really thick, which is great because it gives you more cooling potential if you decide to go with a custom loop in this one. All in all, outstanding. I have no words. That's it. The best thing that I can do right here is PC Crazy approved badge, and I'm definitely sticking by this one because, yeah, I'm digging it. This is it, guys. The links for the ANTEC CX800 wood addressable RGB, as well as the Vortex 360 addressable RGB and the HCG Pro 1000 watts platinum, are in the description below, so you can combine this build if you like the color scheme, like the combination of the parts or anything similar to that. Copy it if you like. That's it. The links are in the description. You can check them out. And finally, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and click the notification bell. See you very soon in a new one, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.